Lake Region Economic Bloc, LREB, is the first regional economic bloc to be established in Kenya at the advent of devolution. Conceived in 2014 and born in 2018, the bloc brings together 14 counties within the Lake Victoria Basin, including Bomet, Bungoma, Busia, Homa Bay, Kakamega, Kericho, Kisii, Kisumu, Migori, Nandi, Nyamira, Siaya, Trans Nzoia, and Vihiga, with the aim of optimum but sustainable utilization of shared resources to accelerate socioeconomic transformation of the people.
I was one of the pioneer governors when these blocks came into place, and what we had in mind then was that united we would attract more partners in terms of economic growth, and that is why we came up as a region, as a bloc.
As a bloc, we are stronger economically, socially, and if you please, politically in our diversity if we think together.
One of the things that we're planning to do is to reinforce our cooperation among the bloc members in terms of planning together common problems around the lake.
LREB has 10 pillar committees grouped into 3 sectors. 1. Productive sector, including agriculture, tourism, trade, and industrialization. 2. Social sector, with education, health, gender, youth and differently abled persons, water, environment, and climate change. 3. Enablers, including financial services, infrastructure, and information communication technology, ICT. The LREB's 11th summit emphasizes on county responses to blue economy and climate change adaptation.
We come together at the right time when inflation is high, when life is very difficult for young people and vulnerable women and children.
Blue economy is not just about Lake Victoria alone. We also have the inland waters, and that's where Kakamega comes in. We have specific programs on saving the biodiversity of our rivers, and that's where also our Department of Climate Change has very keen interest, so that at least we have a holistic solution on the climate action interventions.
Blue economy is an economy that has been there for many years. Even our grandfathers knew about blue economy, but they knew the problem as fishing, as using the lake for transport. In Vihiga, we have already planned, and already we are in the blue economy, and we are practicing a blue economy. Although we do not have a lake or an ocean in Vihiga, but we have rivers. What we are doing as a county, we have embraced the idea of aquaculture or fish farming through the use of fish ponds. So we as a county, we have established a fish hatchery where we are able to multiply or grow our fingerlings, because you need the fingerlings to give to the farmers.
We have 12 rivers that drain into Lake Victoria. 9 of those rivers come from Kenya. So Kenya is a big contributor to the lake in terms of water, our water, which therefore after that, River Nile goes all the way up to Egypt.
Climate change is a global problem that requires a global solution. The solution will not just come from the government, it will come from the individuals, who can be the governor or the village lady there, the youth that we have in the community. All of us needs to have a concerted effort if we have to overcome or minimize the effect of the global change.
We are the ones having the only fish factory in the region. So interventions around aquaculture and climate change, of course, and blue economy is an area that we have invested a lot. And my county assembly approved our CIDP last week. So we are now going to specific programs just to see how we also partner. As you know, one of the themes of these 11 summits about partnership for sustainable development. We have partnered with IFAD and other organizations to support aquaculture in Kakamega, and that has also gone a long way in dealing with wealth creation.
We work very closely with our assembly. We have bills that have gone through the assembly, like the eucalyptus bill, so that we can actually remove eucalyptus, especially along the rivers and where we have the sources of springs and so forth. So that is one area, because as much as we want to address from the individual perspective, I think the legislative aspect is also very important, so that we systemize and have a structured way of addressing some of the challenges that we have. There are opportunities that are coming in terms of conservation, in terms of green energy, even in terms of tourism. As we conserve, for example, the Mau ecosystem, we have some rare antelopes in Mau forest. So part of conservation means you're also protecting the lives that we have there, the animals, which can also be attraction to tourists.
Lake Kanyaboli is the biggest fish pond, in my opinion, freshwater fish pond, that if invested properly, if you do a quick calculation, if you put in 500 million fingerlings, it will not cost the county at 4 shillings a fingerling. It will cost 2 billion shillings to put fingerlings to that lake. If you do the calculation, we're talking about 45 billion with an investment of 3 billion shillings after 9 months. Put in a few fisher boats, put in landing bays, put in fridges where we can store the fish on the lake. We can be flying fish from Kisumu directly into Europe. You don't have to go to the exchequer to look for money. Guys are fishing, we charge, you put the boats there. It's an activity that will earn the county all the money they need in the world.
We welcome declaration by COP27, but in the final analysis, it only makes sense if we ourselves have plans, domestic plans, for improving the environment and for building a strong blue economy. Our domestic plan for building a strong blue economy is, one, to make sure that the environmental health of Lake Victoria is improved.
In Kakamega, for example, we're also calling upon people to adapt or adopt the forest. And the focus now is not about tree planting, but tree growing.
Our forest cover is low. It is something we are not proud of. We are actually ashamed of it.
Ports and harbors and beaches around the lake are very important centers of economic activity.
Victoria Sands Lodge is a beachfront hotel. That hotel has 13 rooms, 23 beds.
If you go down to Dunga, you'll find that there's some young people there that use hyacinth to turn it into energy. And then they channel it directly to the women to fry fish. That fish is very fresh because it's using very clean energy.
We do solid waste management, whereby we collect the waste. Like in Dunga, for the last 10 months, no waste has been taken out of it. What we do, we collect them, we do sorting, and place everything according to their type. The organic will either come for biogas production or for compost manure. Then the rest, which is plastics, glasses, we also sort them out according to the types, which is now very easy to recycle or reuse. The ones which you can't reuse or recycle, like the pampas and the likes, we incinerate. We also have incinerator where we do incineration, which is safe to the environment.
The drainage around between here and Bita is opened up because a lot of the times when it rains, there's siltation of vegetation and soil from up the mountains, which comes and blocks the culverts. So our staff have been engaged a lot in unblocking that, because when it is not done, the water flows on the road and the road degrades. We work with the communities. We make sure that we support the communities around. We source most of our food from the local people. We try as much as we can to be able to contribute to the environment and the ecosystem. We keep our beachfront clean, we keep our premises clean, so that is a contribution that we are making.
The Blue Economy concept seeks to promote economic growth, social inclusion, and the preservation or improvement of livelihoods, while at the same time ensuring environmental sustainability of the ocean's coastal areas and the inland water bodies.
For the past 6 years, we've had cages in the lake for tilapia production, and we are currently able to produce up to 10,000 metric tons of tilapia per year, which makes us the largest producer in the region. The Victory Farms currently employs 720 people full-time, but we also have regular casuals who come in, around 300 per month. Now, the 720 people who we employ full-time, of course, have families, so that's the direct effect. However, if you look around Victory Farms right now, you will see that there's a significant difference in the standard of living because the community around us has got jobs available nearby.
Lake Victoria is a center of common interest to almost 18 county governments that fall within its basin. With 6 of Kenya's major rivers flowing through these counties, the need to coalesce around blue economy resources, design joint harnessing initiatives, and come up with conservation strategies is urgent.
We thank God that we have such wonderful resources within our block. So it depends on how well we use those resources to support our cause. And our cause is simple, to develop the block, to make the block rich, to make the block accessible. We have several flagship projects, one of which is solar power, which we want to put in the block. And we will tap into all areas apart from the panels. We'll tap into this kind of resource because we want this block to be self-sufficient in power.
We are coming up with about 280 megawatt of solar power cluster across all 14 counties within LREP. Apart from that, it is also deliberated to have one of the largest floating solar plant on the Lake Kenyaboli in Siaya, which would predominantly will feed into the national grid and serve the industrial needs of this region.
But we must make sure that there is some synergy and rhythm about how it is done so that these other important components involving the production of solar energy does not interfere with the other things I've mentioned about environment, conservation, and also developing an eco-city around the Lake Kenyaboli.
And the second partnership is with Ministry of Railways. The Government of India has allocated a corporation called Dedicated Freight Corridor Limited. With Dedicated Freight Corridor Limited, our LREP, together with our company, we made a memorandum of engagement again. We have formalized a partnership. So very soon, the officials and the senior engineers from the Ministry of Railways and Dedicated Freight Corridor will come conduct the feasibility studies to establish an inter-county railway network which is expected to change the face of entire country.
We have realized that we have a lot of exchange of goods and services among the LREP members, but relying on road transport, as you know, as an economy grows, is limited, and railroad transport has been proven through the ages as one of the best ways of advancing an economy and improving economic integration.
This urgency required initiation of a legal framework of operation that culminated into the Lake Region Economic Bloc, LREB, Bill of 2019. The bill has been ratified by 10 out of 14 county assemblies and signed into law by respective governors, which is way above the prescribed threshold of 6 member counties. The bloc is therefore a body corporate capable of discharging its mandate as per the laws of Kenya.
I am very happy that currently now the Treasury has come out with a Public Finance Amendment Act. It is saying that counties can now come together and work together as one entity through an authority. Also, the national government can link up with the counties to form an authority so that they perform or undertake an activity that has economics of scale, where the benefits are widespread to a bigger area than a small area.
The bloc boasts of its proximity to a market of approximately 40 million people within the East African basin of the lake and a potential market of 90 million people in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
The future of our economic bloc and other economic blocs in the country is looking very bright.